YouTubians and fellow hobbyists, welcome on the other side of the screen. Well, this Saturday we start a new build. It's the Ford Escort 2000 RS, and it's kind of, one of those small European box-shaped cars, and they used it for rallies as well. So I really like the form, and yeah, you eat my shirt, well, whatever. And so of course we want to change it a little bit. So first we're gonna put a V8 in, so we have a little bit more power. We also detailed the chassis a little bit more, but you're gonna see that in a second. But first, as always, the riddle. Well, as always, here we started first with the motor. This time we had a resin copy of a 429 V8, and as you see, we had to do a couple of fixings from the little bubbles that we had in the resin casting. But after some sanding and everything was smooth, we started to put some paint on the motor. I used to avoid brush painting a lot because of the strokes, but I worked a little bit on my technique, and now I really get them smooth. So I actually went back to that old technique and brush a lot. So paint first, of course, either with spray can or airbrush, and then the little details are painted with brush. And after some practice, you can actually see no strokes. I took some styrene rod and scratch built those headers on each side, so I thought I'm not necessarily need a whole exhaust system. It's a racing car, so it can be loud. People who watch more often this channel knows that I really love big motors, so this V8 is gonna be really special in this little Ford Escort, which usually has the 4-cylinder engine in there, and of course we will have to figure how to put that giant V8 in the little space where actually the 4-cylinder straight motor is, but we figure a way. Next step here in our little build is of course wiring. Well, that's always the part where we wish we would have a 4-cylinder motor. But with the last ignition cables and the oil filler cap in place, this motor is done. Alright, now of course we have to figure how to fit that big V8 in this small place, but I think the first place that I'm gonna do will place the firewall. Now that we have enough space for the gearbox and the motor, of course we have to make some mounting plates for the engine and the gearbox. For the mounting plates I used 1mm styrene sheet, cut it in the right length, and I just glued it on. Now here we have the first mounting, just figure if everything fits together, and of course now we have to shorten that piece that we cut it out earlier. Now with the powertrain tunnel in the right place, of course it is time to fill up all those little extra holes in the floor, and of course we have to make a new firewall. This time I also went a new route with the braking lines. I first mounted the rear axle complete and mounted all the brake lines, and then I will go with the complete axle and mount that in the chassis. But now first here of course we do the front axle. Usually I mount the wheels as the last step on my magnetic jig, so all the 4 tires really touch the floor. Now this time I first mounted the rear axle as a new experiment, because if you have usually just one tire is too high, so I figured if this one tire is not touching the floor, I can make that by drilling a bigger hole out and make it fit. It worked out this time. Fun part on the kit, the front wheels are movable. I think that's really cool. But that's all for now. Alright, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed it so far. See you next week. Take care, be safe, and have fun with whatever you want to build. Bye bye y'all.
Bye y'all.